It's 5-time Emmy Award winner Ron Burgundy and his brand new show, How to Fly with AI.
Good evening, How to Flyers. I'm deepfake Ron Burgundy, and welcome to How to Fly with AI, the weekly show where we dive deeper into the world of generative AI than I dive into my hair care routine. And let me tell you, that's pretty deep. Let's kick things off with some sizzling hot news in AI video generation. The Chinese video generation tool Kling AI, which some consider the Rolls-Royce of video generation, has gone global. No more sneaking around for Chinese phone numbers. Just head to klingai.com, register with an email, and boom, you're in business. They're even giving away 6 free generations a day. That's almost more freebies than a news anchor gets hair products in a TV station. And I can personally assure you, that's a lot. Right after the release of Kling AI, Runway Gen3, another AI video generation tool, stepped up its game faster than I can say, I love LAMP. They've added image-to-video capabilities, joining the ranks of Luma Dream Machine and Kling AI. Having these 3 amazing tools publicly available just asks for a head-to-head showdown. So I put these 3 to the test with a prompt that would make my dog Baxter proud. A man in a speedboat followed by a water-skiing squirrel. And to guide the video generation process, I added the following image, which I created using a combination of Photoshop, InPaint, and Leonardo.ai's image generator and upscaler. And just as a quick side note, it has been announced this week that Leonardo was acquired by Canva, so Canva users will finally get a good image generator. God bless them. Now back to our image-to-video generation showdown. As the quality of the generation sometimes differ, I've asked the same prompt 5 times to every tool, and then I cherry-picked the best result for each of them. And man, I must say, the results were even more impressive than my perfectly groomed hair. Let's have a look at some of the results.
How about that? That squirrel can water ski.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Personally, I think Runway nailed the consistency of my face and of the squirrel, but Kling AI's realism had me doing a double take. It's like they captured the essence of my hair blowing in the wind perfectly. So I guess they both have their strengths. But for me, Luma was the least impressive. But they have released their image-to-video feature already a while ago, so perhaps a new update will follow soon. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on my water skiing squirrels in the comments. Now, even though the water skiing squirrel is fun as a test, what Gen 3 Alpha and Kling AI seem to be really good at is people talking. And by the Beard of Zeus, it's impressive. If you combine these tools with SynClabs for lip syncing and 11 Labs for voice and audio generation, you can bring the famous meme girl in her red dress to life to let her tell her side of the story.
That guy can look all he wants. I'm only interested in one guy. That's Ron Burgundy with his beautiful hair.
There you have it, folks. Finally, the true story behind the famous meme girl and the man with the lustrous hair she truly desires. Speaking of lustrous hair, Meta, the company formerly known as Facebook, has just knocked it out of the park with their latest earnings report. Now, I don't usually get excited about numbers unless they're my Nielsen ratings, but these are more impressive than my perfectly coiffed hair. Meta's revenue shot up by 21% to a whopping $34 billion in the second quarter, and the company's net income more than doubled to $7.8 billion. That's enough money to buy every person in San Diego a leather-bound book collection and fill their apartments with the smell of rich mahogany. But Zuckerberg's not stopping there. After a successful release of Llama 3.1 last week, Zuck is already gearing up for Llama 4, which will need 10 times more computing power than Llama 3.1's biggest model, the 405B Behemoth. And this magnificent beast already requires 10 GPUs of approximately $15,000 each just to run it locally at home. I don't know about you, but that's more than my entire wardrobe budget for a month. No wonder NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang gave his leather jacket to Zuck at SIGGRAPH 2024 this week. It's like Zuckerberg is trying to single-handedly keep the GPU industry afloat. Now, for those of you who prefer your AI models like I prefer my Scotch, smooth and approachable, Google's got you covered. They've released 3 new open-source AI models this week: Gemma 2.2b, Shield Gemma, and Gemma Scope. They're calling them safer, smaller, and more transparent. It's like they're describing my love life minus the smaller part, of course. Now, what's the difference between the three models? Let's break it down. First, we have Gemma 2.2b. It's a lightweight model that can run on everything from simple laptops to edge devices 100% locally without the need of an internet connection. So, if you always dreamt of going on a private date with a model in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, far away from civilization, Gemma 2b might be the perfect fit for you. The second release was Shield Gemma. Think of it as the bouncer for your AI club. It's there to detect and filter out the bad stuff like hate speech and explicit content. It's like having a miniature version of me with my impeccable moral compass guarding your AI outputs. Last but not least, we have Gemma Scope. This one's for the real AI aficionados out there. It lets you zoom in on specific parts of the Gemma 2 model, making it easier to understand how it thinks. It's like getting a behind-the-scenes look at my thought process as I deliver the news. Fascinating, complex, and undoubtedly handsome. And holy guacamole, Google was on fire this week. Next to the Gemma models, they've just unleashed their latest AI powerhouse, Gemini 1.5 Pro Experimental 0801. And let me tell you, it's hotter than a fresh cup of scotchy scotch. The new model has quickly claimed the top spot on the prestigious LMSYS chatbot arena leaderboard. And for those not familiar with this leaderboard, the LMSYS score is derived from the Hugging Face chatbot arena, where users compare two anonymous AI models side by side and vote for their preferred response without knowing which models they are voting on. This voting then results in ELO ratings that rank the model's performance. The process is like the blind date television show where you talk to models and then pick your favorite model based on the answers to your questions. And apparently Google's Gemini 1.5 Pro model is currently the most popular model. That's the first time in the history of this ranking that a Google model is on top. We're talking an ELO score of 1,300, folks. That's higher than OpenAI's GPT-4o and Anthropic's Claude 3.5 Sonnet, potentially signaling a shift in the AI landscape. It's like watching a young Ron Burgundy rise through the ranks of broadcast journalism. Very promising. Now let's talk about OpenAI. You've already noticed earlier in this episode that although the impressive video generation capabilities of Sora have been demoed, we're still waiting on the version that's publicly available. This demoing of impressive things but not making them available to the public seems to be becoming their thing. They're like that friend who says they'll show up to the party with the booze but then arrives fashionably late. Their advanced voice mode for ChatGPT, for example, was demoed in May, but is only just being released this week to a small subset of ChatGPT Plus users. The full release to all Plus users is only expected to be in the fall. But we have to say it looks quite advanced and almost sounds like Scarlett Johansson. I'd be jealous if I weren't already the voice of a generation. Another example is OpenAI's Search GPT, a prototype for a new AI-powered search engine. It's got all the bells and whistles, conversational interface, direct responses, clear source attribution, and even visual results. But here's the kicker. With only 10,000 test users, it's more exclusive than the most prestigious jazz flute clubs in town. And unfortunately, Ron Burgundy was not invited to the party. But to me, it just looks like they're trying to mimic my favorite AI-driven search engine, Perplexity. Speaking of Perplexity, Perplexity is launching a new publisher's program that's almost more exciting than a date with Ron Burgundy. This comes after weeks of plagiarism accusations that were messier than the Channel 4 news team's locker room. They've recruited quite the roster of publishing partners. We're talking big names like Time, Fortune, WordPress, Der Spiegel, and Entrepreneur. It's like the Avengers of the publishing world, minus the spandex. Here's the deal. When Perplexity features content from these publishers in response to user queries, the publishers get a slice of the ad revenue pie. It's like they're finally getting a taste of that sweet, sweet internet money. But wait, there's more. These lucky publishers also get a free 1-year subscription to Perplexity's Enterprise Pro tier. That's more value than my vintage leather-bound books. Tumblr is sitting this one out. Maybe they're too busy with all those cat gifs. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Meta has done it again. They've released Sam 2, the sequel to their Segment Anything model. And let me tell you, it's more impressive than my hair on a windless day. This AI powerhouse can segment objects and images faster than I can say, I'm deepfake Ron Burgundy. It's got potential use cases that'll make your head spin, from medical imaging analysis to autonomous driving, and even helping wildlife researchers track animals in their natural habitats. Or perhaps just have some fun with their demo and turn this ping pong ball in an emoji. But you know what the best use case might be? Helping viewers locate that elusive like and subscribe button if they're having trouble finding it. After all, liking and subscribing is more important than, well, almost as important as having a well-groomed mustache. That concludes it for this week, How to Flyers, and remember, stay classy and keep exploring.